Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a Saturday morning for some of us, depending on what time zone you're in, or it's an afternoon. So you can listen to this while you are traveling, going about, and then also look at the replay on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. My name is Crystal Baker. I'm the founder of 412 Training Group. And currently, up until January 31st, we are a church consultancy where we help churches develop their systems and processes so they can serve their congregations and communities better and reduce burnout. For this month, we are focusing on finances. We know it's the beginning of the new year. People are making these resolutions. They're preparing for everything that they're going to do in 2024. And for 12, we wanted to kind of get people on the right track and the right direction as it relates to our finances. We pray and ask God for more. We want financial breakthroughs. We want financial blessings, but it's important for us to be great stewards of the financial blessings that He gives us. Uh, the other week, we had a CFO and associates. We had Neek on, and she was talking to us about, the financial principles. Uh, and it's important to understand what it is as a church and a nonprofit organizations to manage your organization financially. And today, because many of you, your hands are itching, you are waiting on them W-2s to come in so you can file them taxes, your 1099s, you ready. But we're going to talk about taxes today with our guest, Malinda Moore. She's going to share what she does, how long she's been doing it, all of the states she serves. So please share where you're streaming from, what city and state that you're in. Taxes is another way that we steward the financial blessings that God has given us. I know plenty of saints who wages have gotten garnished, had bad tax preparation, or they don't have a consistent person who they work with to really help them stay on track when it comes to their taxes. So I want you to get your pen and paper if you are able to, and if not, I want you to come back to this video because this is going to be a really educational time for you to understand taxes and tax preparation. In a Black community, many people they are told that taxes are bad, credit is bad. And that kind of puts us behind versus everyone else because we don't understand the importance of taxes and credit. So we want to be able to share with you all, hey, Nick girl, we want you all to be able to get this information, what Neek shared last week, what Malinda is going to share today, and really be intentional with how do we be better stewards? And when we ask God for more, how do we steward it well? And how do we get the education to help us stay on track with the businesses that we want, with the raises and bonuses that we get, the financial increases through our jobs. So I'm going to bring on Malinda Moore. Um, when I moved to Houston, I didn't have any family out there. And after joining Higher Dimension Church, I knew I love teaching, but I'm an introvert. I like to be in the background. And she's like, you gonna help me in this grow ministry. And she pushed me out of my comfort zone from being in the background to teaching classes or discipleship classes. So this is a full circle moment, and I appreciate her for pushing me because look at me now. I'm an introvert, but like my face on this camera about to run me low. But I'm very, very thankful for Miss Malinda, and I wanted her to come on and really help you all. So I hope you all ready. Please share this with other people who you believe that is going to be very beneficial to them. Those who haven't filed their taxes in years, especially if they have deductions and children and all that kind of stuff. It ain't no reason why. So I'm going to bring on Miss Malinda. I'm going to remove myself from the stage, and she's going to really educate you all on taxes. All right. Hey,
Hi,
Miss Malinda.
hi, Crystal.
Oh,
It
well,
is
go ahead.
it is such a pleasure to see you and to visit with you again. I do remember those days at Higher D. She was a very good teacher, though. I'm telling you, I loved her and miss her so much. So
I miss you too. So I'm going to remove myself off the stage and let you do your thing, helping everyone really be intentional this year for 2024. With all the scamming the past few
oh yeah,
years, with the
yeah,
pandemic and everything else,
yeah,
it's time to get back on track. It's
that's
really,
true.
really time to get back on track. So I'm going to send it over to you and
Thank
enjoy,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Crystalline, for allowing me this opportunity to speak to you today, and thankful to everyone who has logged on to learn about income tax. And as she said, people are getting their tax return, their taxes, their W-2s, and trying to figure out what to do. So that's what this seminar is about. So thank you, Crystal, again, for inviting me, and thank you for everyone who logged on. Little bit about myself. Um, I have been in taxes for over 30 years. My tax experience, I started out with H&R Block, and I took the classes and I just kind of fell in love with taxes. So I've been doing it ever since. I'm a full tax expert, full service tax expert. I can prepare all business state returns. I love bookkeeping. That's what I wanted to do in high school. So I love bookkeeping and accounting. And my profession at work, I'm an accounts payable specialist. And then I said, you know what? I'm a certified notary public, so I can certify, notarize different forms. So I just enjoy what I do. Okay, so today we're going to talk about some tips about the 2023 tax returns. I know it can be a little difficult, a little scary, or whatever when you're doing your taxes and when you get all these forms. It's like, what do I do? But we're going to talk about that and hopefully get some clarity on taxes for this year. This is my granddaughter. She is 17, and this is her first little check. So she calls me and said, Gigi, I want you to do my taxes. And I'm like, okay. So when I saw her W-2, I'm like, sweetie, you didn't make any money. She said, but I want my refund. And then she says, Gigi, who is Social Security tax and Medicare tax? I didn't tell them to take my money, but that is our story. When we get our W-2, we have taxes taken out, Social Security tax, Medicare tax. That's part of it. So when I finished, she only got $2.50. So she called, Gigi, that's all I got. Yes, ma'am. So it cost me more to e-file it, but because I wanted her to get a feel of doing taxes and reporting her income and getting a refund, I went on and prepared her taxes for her. So, and a lot of times we'd be, shocked too with how much we get back or either how much we owe. So I want to kind of explain what constitutes a tax refund. A tax refund is a reimbursement of the excess taxes that's withheld from your payroll check. Don't think a refund as a bonus. It's essentially an interest-free loan that you give to the government. You don't get any interest on it. So if you do get a tax refund, you have either overpaid your taxes or you was eligible for a refundable tax credit. We'll talk about those credits later. So what you want to do is either avoid overpaying the taxes to get a big refund, or you want to avoid underpaying your taxes. So in order to do that, we need to complete a W-4 form at our employer. Okay, so you might ask, what is a W-4 form? When you first got hired at your job, you completed a W-4. And some of us probably haven't updated our W-4 in years. So when you get your taxes done, take a look at your refund or overpayment, and you might want to revisit your W-4. So to complete a W-4, you put your personal information in. The filing status is very important here. So you can either do single, married, filing, joint, or head of household. The next step you want to do is the dependents. So when you put your dependents here, just say you have two dependents, $2,000, and then you put it here, you got $4,000. You do married, filing, joint, you do 4,000 here. That means that you will have less taxes taken out of your check because your W-4 is packed with exemptions. You've heard people say, I put 10 dependents on mine. They're not taking anything out of their check. So this will determine how much your employer deduct from your check. But to be on the safe side, what you want to do is always do single, zero dependents, and then that way they will take more out of your check. So if you get a refund and it's less, you're almost there, you might want to take out a little more. If you owe, you can always have extra withheld here. And I tell clients, if you owe money, do single, zero, and take out extra withholdings here. Okay, so now most of you might have gotten the W-2. We're going to talk about John Doe. He's my client today. John Doe got his W-2 and he had $89,000. He had his taxes withheld and everything. So he says he's married, filing, joint. So he said, okay, I got my W-2. I'm good. Then he has the question, Miss Doe, which taxes should I file? You might have these questions. You know, I have a child that turned 17. What's going to happen? Or my child is in college now. Or I have a new baby. Or I bought a home. You got all of these questions that you have. And it's like, let me see. Maybe I can't do my taxes. You say, oh, God, I need a tax preparer. Because with all of these changes, with all the rules and everything, it gets so complicated and you can't do your taxes yourself. And you think, okay, I need a tax preparer. Now, do me this favor. If you do get a tax preparer to do your taxes, make sure you have all of your documents ready. It's something when you get pieces here and pieces there and you're trying to prepare a return and you don't have all your documents. So let's make sure when we do that we have everything together. So we're going to look at some parts, components of a tax return. First thing, as I mentioned, is the 5 filing status. This is very important. This is the foundation of what you start on your tax return. This is your status December 31st. Am I single? No children, no husband, single, period. Married, filing, joint. I'm married. I'm going to file jointly with my husband. These are the standard deductions that comes with the filing status. Married, filing separate. You can do married, filing separate. Just say one of your spouses, mostly if the husband has child, they after him for child support. And you say, I don't want to be a part of that. You can do married filing separate, and but you will lose some credits on that. That's another story. Head of household. Okay, head of household, I'm single and I have children. I have dependent children. So my status is head of household. So this is my standard deduction. Qualifying widower with dependent children. This one, if you lost a husband within the last 2 years, you can still file qualifying widower with the dependent children and you get the same standard deduction as married filing joint. Okay, so you want to know what constitutes taxable income. If you get any of these forms, a W-2, 1099, 1099-G, if you was on unemployment, note if you get a 1099-C, what cancellation of debt, that's income to you. I had a client who got a 1099-C, had $15,000 debts released. She got a 1099-C, that's taxable income, and you have to pay taxes on that. Okay, again, for all those gamblers, if you win money gambling, that's income. You have to pay taxes on that. But the only thing, if you have any losses for those casino people, you can deduct your losses from your gambling income. If they send in, if you get a W-2G, that's gambling. Okay. All right. This is if you get anything in the mail with this is untaxed taxable income. What that means is you got interest income, you got investments income, you get pensions, distribution. If you're an independent contractor, anything that you get that's untaxed is taxable income. I tell you, every time rules change, we do things, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, they want to know if you get any money from anywhere. So if you got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, money that's sent to you from a small business, you have to pay taxes on it. They want to know. That's a 1099K. That's a new rule from the last couple of years. So that's the thing. Non-taxable income here, we have a few non-taxable income. For those who receive child support payments, yay, it's not taxable. That's non-taxable income. If you receive alimony payments, it's non-taxable to you. I had a client who called me who had gifts. She says, Malinda, I want to report my gift. I said, okay. I say, and I looked it up. I'm like, gifts are not taxable. And I said, how much did you get? She said, I got over $50,000 from her family members and gifts. I'm like, wow, that's great. You got a good family, great support. She had surgery. They helped her out. I said, but sweetie, you don't have to pay taxes on that. So gifts is non-taxable when you receive them. That's non-taxable income to you. Next, you want to know, who can I qualify? Who can I claim as my dependent? That's a question that you think. You might have 10 children. Keep your children. Don't be giving your dependents to anybody. Just those are your dependents. So they have to, it's a 5 test that they have to pass. They have to be a U.S. citizen. They have to be your child, your sister, brother, or any descendant of your family. To get the child tax credit, they have to be under the age of 17. You can still claim them if they're still in college up to age 24, if they're still in college. Disabled children or no age restriction. So if you have a disabled child, you can always claim them on your dependent. They have to pass the residence test. They must live with you all year, and then you must support them. The next one is a qualifying relative. Now you might say, I have my cousin staying with me and she not working, and can I claim them on my taxes? Yes, you can. If they staying with you, the only thing that cannot be your child or your husband's child, they must earn less than $4,700 and you provide their support, and they must live with you all year long. I had a client who had a daughter who was over 24, not in college, and she wanted to claim her on her taxes. So we go through the test. I'm like, well, she's over 24. She's not in college, but she made over the $4,700. So she made about $6,000, which was not much. But anyway, it's over the income threshold. So she could not claim her as her dependent because of the income. Okay, so when you go into the deductions, that's the next portion on the tax return. Years ago, a lot of us was doing, you had the standard deduction, which was limited, and then you had the itemized deductions. Well, if your itemized deduction exceeded your standard deduction, you would do itemized deduction. IRS got smart and said, you know what, we're going to stop that. So what they did was raise the standard deduction. So a lot of us who used to be able to itemize can't itemize anymore. So we can look at this Schedule A, itemizations on Schedule A. So when you go through it, after everything, he only has $16,376. This is a single person. So therefore, the standard deduction is $14,000. They probably can itemize, but if you're married, filing joint, your standard deduction is $29,200, which is more than the itemized deduction. I had a client who was like, I want to itemize. I've been itemizing. I'm like, well, the standard deduction was increased, so you can't itemize. So she was determined. So we put everything on. And when I showed her the difference, she says, oh, okay. So We want to know the difference between itemized and standard deduction. It just depends on your filing status. Okay. Now, the big question is tax credits. We want to know, how do tax credits work? There are three types of tax credits, okay? Non-refundable tax credits, refundable, and partially refundable tax credits. Those are our tax credits. So a non-refundable tax credits, or these are some non-refundable tax credits. And what that means, that the credits will bring your balance due to zero. Just say you had a tax bill and it was $1,000 and you qualified for a $1,200 tax credit. It can only reduces your taxes to zero. That's $1,000. So you won't get the extra $200. That's the non-refundable tax credit. Now, this is the baby that everybody depend on. This is the refundable tax credit. This is where the child tax credit comes into, the earned income tax credit, the dependent care tax credit. These are all of your credits if you have children, and it still depend on your filing status, single, married, filing joint, and this is on your adjusted gross income. Just say you were married, filing joint, you had 2 children. So the maximum adjusted gross income you can make is $52,009. It's going to phase out. So you might not get anything. I do have clients who have children who between this age, but they don't get anything because their income is more. It's a phase out for that. So you have all those credits. Just say a refundable tax credit. If you have a $1,000 tax bill, and you qualify for $1,200 credits, then you'll get a refund of $200. But these refundable credits, don't let it fool you. If you have a tax liability, it will reduce that tax liability, and then you can go from there. So we'll do a tax return and look at that. You have partially tax credits, and these are education credits. These are for your children who are in college. They must be a full-time student. They must be between the ages 17 to 24. They can live with you at home or away from college, and you still must provide their support, and they cannot have a criminal report. And these 2 credits or American Opportunity Credit, if your child is in school for the first 4 years, they get the American Opportunity Tax Credit. Anytime after that, 4 years, it's a lifetime learning credit. So when you're doing the education credits, you're going to make sure that you say how many years they've been in school. And this, you will get a form from their school putting that information on the tax return. It's going to show their scholarship amount or their amount that they got in tuition and everything. And you'll be able to complete that there. The next slide. This is a biggie. This is the 7 federal tax brackets. Your income will fall in between one of these tax brackets. And the 7 tax bracket is a range of income that's subject to a certain percentage tax rate according to your taxable income. What it does is a progressive system in which it increases as your income increase. And this is the tax table here. It's between 10 and 37%. Again, it depends on your filing status. Single, married, filing joint, or head of household. I'm going to give you some time to look at this. If your marriage status or whatever it is, this is the tax bracket that you're in here. If I'm single and make $182,000, which would be great, I'm in the 32% tax bracket. Married, filing joint, or head of household. That's the tax bracket that you're in. But the kicker here is you would think that you're in the, like this person, this is our example. They're single. They made $99,600. This is the income. But once you subtract their standard deduction, the tax bracket is your adjusted gross income. So for this person who made $85,000 ends up in the 22% tax bracket. Okay, just an example. If you do 85,000 times the tax rate, she owes $18,700. That's what we would normally think. But the tax table works a little bit different. Okay. The first $11,000 is taxed at 10%. That's $1,100. The next portion of $44,725 is taxed at 12%. That tax amount is $5,367. So this person still has $29,000 over that's taxed at 22%. That's a $6,440 tax amount. So when you add all of these up with the progressive tax system, you owe $12,907.80 versus the $18,000. So you see the difference. So you're really saving $5,000 because of the progressive tax system, and that's good because the more money you make, the more money you have to pay taxes on. So I just say make the money and pay the taxes. One thing you're not going to get around is taxes. You can reduce some taxes, but you're going to pay some taxes. Okay, so I'm going to do an example of a tax return. We have our favorite client, John and Martha Doe. They're married filing joint. They have 3 dependents, and the income is from a husband. Mr. Doe got a 1099, and because the standard deduction, his itemized deduction is less, we're going to use the standard deduction, okay? So this is John and Martha Doe's tax return, all right? They're doing married filing joint here. They put in their information. They have 3 children. Okay, I get the credits. These 2 children, or you see here, they get the child tax credit because they're under 17. But Marissa is over 17, so we have her in this category because she's over 17. All right, their taxable income, their income on the W-2 is $69,073. He got some pension here, so we're going to add that. These 2 figures give me his income. That's the total income that John and Martha Doe has here. So you're going to, and that equals their adjusted gross income, because if you have any injuries or anything, council debt, all of that goes in additional tax here. So you take their adjusted gross income, and then you're going to subtract their standard deduction because they're married filing joint. We subtract that from it. So that taxable income here is $63,822. Now this amount here is where the tax table, the tax bracket comes into play, because you don't want to do the taxes on the 63. It's going to be that progressive tax system. So once you do that, it's going to come out to $7,248. That's the taxes that's owed on this taxable income. We haven't done any credits yet, okay? So you have your 2 children here that was under 17, and you had one over 17. So you get $2,000 per dependent. That's $4,000, and you get an additional $500 for this child over 17. Now, I did a return. One client, the child turned 17 in October. So I'm thinking, oh, he's going to be okay for the tax year. But when we did the return, it was $500 less. They deducted it because the child was over 17. So now I tell clients, if you have a child that reached 17 in 2023, you will not get the full tax credit for them. You are going to only get $500. And a lot of clients is disappointed with that because they still take care of those children. They're in their household and they can't get that. So once you take your credits and subtract from the taxes that's owed, this is the taxable amount that's owed, the total tax that you owe. All right. We haven't done any withholdings yet. So you're going to go back to your payments, your federal taxes withheld, which is from the W-2, $4,055. Then we had taxes withheld from the 1099. If you get a distribution, it is best to take taxes from that. if you get a distribution from your 401k or anything, always take taxes out because you're going to owe taxes on that. So John Doe was smart. He had taxes taken out. So the total taxes withheld and paid was $5,145. So you want to take that amount and subtract from the total tax, and this is your refund. You're going to either have a refund or a balance due. Okay. Now, to always is the advantage of having a home-based business, because if you have a regular W-2, it's really nothing much you can do but just what I showed you. So, but if you have a home-based business, you can take some of the losses from the business and it's subtracted on your tax return. So it's always good to have a home-based business, and you can subtract that from here. Other income, if you have a loss, that's from your home-based business. Home-based business is on the Schedule C. So you want to make sure that if you have a home-based business, that you in multiple streams of income, you want to take advantage of that. And what a home-based business does, you can deduct some expenses. It has to be ordinary, necessary, and reasonable. Now, we just can't do anything and say that I have a home-based business and I can get to take these taxes off. I've seen clients who say, I got a home-based business. They don't have an EIN number. They don't have a separate bank account. They're just saying they got a business. Please make sure you have a legitimate business. And if you give that information to your tax preparer, make sure you have all of your information together. I have a client who said, Malinda, I got a home-based business and she feeds me stuff. And, you want to make sure you have everything together, because you have to put financial statements, you have to put all that together before it can be a legitimate business and to put it on your tax return. Now, if you go into some of these shady people who give you your tax return back, and then you got a business and you have no clue what kind of business you have and don't know what they did, that's what this is for. You want to make sure that you understand your business and what you're doing. You can deduct your cell phone, internet, subscription, office equipment. And, I bought a new computer. I use a computer for my business. I deduct it as a home-based business expense. My cell phone, my business portion of my cell phone, even though I pay it from my account, my business can get a percentage of it. My home office, I use my home office, my room, my utilities, everything you can deduct from your home-based business. Another thing, if you have children, hire your children to help you with stuff. They might be computer savvy. I need you to do this. I need you to build me this website, whatever. And then if it's below their standard deduction, you don't have to pay taxes on it. They don't have to pay taxes, and you get to claim it on your tax return because you hired them as to work for you. So you want to build a trusted customer base. You also want to get with a tax strategist and a legal team to make sure that your business is set up correct. You might want to do an LLC. Just kind of, make sure that it's set up correct. This is, you would do it on a Schedule C. Now people are doing LLCs. If you have an LLC, you have to complete a Form 1065. That's a pass-through entity. And these are all of the expenses that you can get. So when you do your base business, you want to do income minus expenses equals your net profit or your net loss. If you have a loss from your business, you can deduct it from your income. Now, why would you want to do a business and have a loss? Just to get a tax deduction. Come on, people. If you're going to do a business, make a profit, pay your taxes, and do what it do. Okay? Even taking the expenses from your business, it will lower the profit or loss. You don't want to have a $50,000 profit when you can take these expenses away from it and have a $10,000 profit. So it's just kind of tax strategies, what you can do, the advantages of a home-based business. Okay, so just a few saving strategies for 2024. I know people who companies have 401k company match. Why would you not participate in the 401k company match? I don't know. If they match 7%, my company match 7%, I'm going to put 7% or 10%. It's a win-win situation. You put 7, they match 7. You got 14% of contribution to your 401k. You want to contribute to a health savings account. The older you get, sometimes you have more expenses. So if you're young and your company have a health savings account, please contribute to the health savings account, because you don't lose any money from your health savings account. So you put the max in there if you can, contribute something. It rolls over year after year, and then you can use it. This, for the last few years, I've been putting more in my health savings, because when I retire, I can still use that money to pay for my medical bills or my medicine or whatever, because I have a cushion. These, your 401k, your HSA, and your flexible savings account, if you have children, you can use your flexible savings account to take out childcare. All of these come off of your W-2. So then non-tax is not paid taxes on it until you use it. So the flexible spending account, if you have a daycare and you put it in there, then you can pay the daycare and it has come off your taxable income. You also want to contribute to a Roth. And again, if you owed taxes, you might want to do additional taxes taken out. Set up a direct deposit from your paycheck to help with your saving. You know, I kind of do that. $25 a month, pay period, it adds up. That's not a whole lot, but it's going directly from my checking account to my savings account. So when I want to go on my vacation, guess what? I got some extra money. Okay. Don't lose your refund. That is very important. If you have if you work and you get a paycheck, you need to file a tax return. You might qualify for tax credits, and if you do a refund within the 3 years, you won't get it. True story. I had a client who was 4 years behind. Okay, she has a child, so she get child tax credits. So I'm like, why are you not filing your taxes? I did a tax return. She had a $4,000 refund, but she could not get it because it was beyond the filing period. And the strange thing, if it's beyond the filing period, they will not, you can't get it. But if you have a tax due, back within it, they're going to charge you penalties and interest on that. So always file your tax return. I had a client just last week who she only made $500, people. And I looked at her, no taxes taken out. And I'm looking like, she is not going to get a refund. Guess what? She had a granddaughter on the return. She got a tax credit for that. And she was in school. She got an education credit for that. That lady came out with over $1,000 in a tax refund, because otherwise, if she hadn't filed, she wouldn't have got her refund. So you want to be careful. After 3 years, they will not give you a refund. And if you owe them, they're going to charge you penalty, interest, and for not filing. So make sure that you file your refund, your tax return. Have a client now who haven't filed taxes since 2017. Yeah. And she owed over $20,000 in taxes. That's terrible. But we want to make sure we do that. So, okay. So just a checkup for 2024. We can't do anything about 2023. Once you get your taxes prepared, think about what we talked about. Make sure you can make some adjustments on your W-4 form if you have to. So let's look at all of that and compare to see if you need to make any adjustments for 2024. If you have a balance due, we looked over the W-4 form. If you need to take out additional taxes, do that. We have clients who know they're going to have a balance due, but they don't want to take out any extra money to kind of cover that. So and then they end up with another balance due from last year. Now you got another balance due from this year. And it doesn't make sense when you can at least take out some additional taxes, change your W 4, make sure you have single zero, and they can take out extra taxes. So that's the part. If you have a big refund, or if you have a child that's coming over 17, you want to know that you don't qualify for that child tax credit. Okay, so what is your story? You know, we all have changes. I'm an empty nester now, you know, have grandkids. You might have gotten married, could have got divorced, or if you had a baby, or if you moved, you know, all kind of situations. Now people losing their jobs. What can you do? Um, so if your tax return is so complicated, you might want to file an extension. Please do so. Um, so you might have had a small business. Make sure everything is up to par. So what is your story for 2023? All of this will affect your 2023 tax return. Okay, with wise tax planning, you can reduce your taxable income and keep more of your money working for you. So this year, if you're not confident that you can file your own taxes, I'd be so happy to file the taxes for you. Scan the QR code and give me, you know, I'll be able to do that. Be careful on these scammers that charge you all this money to do your taxes because you don't understand them. And next thing you know, they've taken $2,000 from your tax refund, and you're like, I don't know what they did. Just know that if something like that happens, you sign the tax return. You're saying that it's good. I agree with it. So when you're audited, your tax preparer might be like, I don't know, or gone. So make sure that you trust who you're doing your taxes with. Make sure that they're legit and they're not trying to. Please don't have no fake business. Let's not do that. Do you all have any questions or comments? Hopefully, you got a good explanation or at least a good understanding of how your taxes works, how the credits works, how the all that stuff works. It's complicated. I tell you, every situation is different. You might talk to your neighbor and say, you know, I got about $13,000 back. Well, they got 5 kids, you know, so you don't have no children, so you don't get that. So you can't compare. I always tell clients, you can't compare your tax situation with someone else's. Everybody's different.
Yep. Malinda, that was awesome. For a lot of us, it may be like, oh, that was a lot. So that's why it's important to listen to things over and over again because you may not get everything in the first listen.
Yes.
But if I listen to it again and now you are more informed, you're not in such a rush because, you know, once the holiday season, people be itching for them W-2s because you're broke. You done spent all your money on Christmas and turkeys and all of that. And you ready to file them. You so desperate. You want to take your last paycheck and go somewhere and get it filed because you just want to file that return.
Yes.
And without having the education. So
Right.
I think this is really, really important for us to at least know so we're not getting scammed by people.
That's true.
I always tell people like I'm a forever learner. I may not use the information myself, but I at least want to be aware of it. So once I'm talking to someone, you not think you're gonna dupe me and talk circles around me. I may not know it, I may not be a CPA, but I'm aware of this information.
Yes.
So hopefully this was really, really helpful for you all. If you have any questions,
please.
If you have any comments, if this was helpful for you, let us know in the comments. Lisa said, great presentation. I totally agree, Lisa. From an operational standpoint, I help small businesses and nonprofits and churches. So although I'm a church consultant, there are, you know, people who are in clergy, people who are in ministry that have businesses. And once I start, you know, having conversations and start digging, and it's like You only have a business by name. You got a name you've been throwing around,
Yes.
but you have no EIN. You have no business bank
Right.
account. You
Right.
just, I mean, they just, yeah, my business. Like, oh, sweetie, you don't have
Yeah.
anything.
Hmm.
And you're not paying taxes on any of these bracelets that you're selling, these shawls, these ebooks. You're
They
not
gonna
paying
get you
taxes on
now,
any of
though.
it, you know.
Yeah.
So, from an operational standpoint, to prepare yourself so when you do go and meet with Malinda or any tax preparer, even if you're going into any of the tax companies, um, the local tax companies, you need to make sure that you set up your business legitimately.
Legitimate. Yeah.
And if you don't know how, speak with a CPA, an attorney, or an
Right.
organization that helps people
Right.
set up small based businesses.
Right.
Stop listening to these scammers, and they just want you to do an LLC so you can get some funding. Well, how are you gonna pay it back, especially if it's a loan?
Yes. Yes.
Saving your stuff. I wrote me a list, making sure that you have an EIN number,
Right.
because the IRS is not playing anymore with people. All of the scamming that's been going on for the past few years, as an LLC, now you got to file that financial thing to
Financial
say
state.
that you
Yes.
are
Yes.
an LLC, because people's
LLC.
just getting stuff, and whole scammers don't have a real business. The other thing is having a separate business bank
Bank
account.
account. Yes.
You cannot put your business income inside your personal bank account. I know a lot of people is sitting in Cash
Yeah.
App, and is
Yes.
sitting in um, Venmo and PayPal and all that. And although those things are sources and it's linked to a debit card, it's not a business
It's not
bank
a
account.
business account. No, that is true.
Um, and if you say, "Well, I'm a business, but I'm not getting a lot of income all the time." Well, when I started, I found an online bank account, because a lot of the traditional banks,
Mm-hmm.
and even some of the credit unions, they had astronomical monthly
Monthly
fees.
fees.
I'm like,
Yes.
okay, if I make $2 and the fees are 15,
Right.
25, what's going to happen? But once I started getting income, I switched to a bank that I could walk into. That way, if I
Mhm.
needed a cashier's check, I needed to do business or build a relationship with my bank, I looked for one that had zero or low cost monthly
Constantly. Yes.
fees. So that way it's not eating up all your money. However, if you manage your books right, those banking fees is going to be on your
A
expenses,
deduction.
right?
That's true. Yes.
So, and then one of the other things, and I'll put some resources in the chat. Making sure that you use accounting software to
Mhm.
help your tax prepare. And I know that you all have seen in movies, and I personally know people, they come bring a shopping bag full of
A
receipts.
lot of stuff.
Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, I want you to work miracles
In my
quick.
receipts, do something with it. What am I supposed to do with this? But if you were using a system to help you manage your income and expenses that you can connect your bank accounts to, and it'll feed in that information, your
Yes.
bookkeeper can identify what this income or expense was
This
for.
word. Yes.
When you need a profit and loss statement, you're able to print it out. So not only is it good for your tax preparer, it makes their life a whole lot easier.
Mhm.
It also helps when you're trying to get funding. You may be trying to get a loan, you may be trying to do some other business transactions, and they may say, "What's your profit and loss statement?" Or, "Can you give me an income statement?" And you looking like,
What is it?
what you mean? So I think it's important, with this presentation and others that we will be inviting to share with you all, is to really learn the terminology. You have the Small Business Administration that is really helpful, and I
Mhm.
have a lot of free resources. So I know many of us want to be entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders, but we have to be more informed
Yes.
of the different laws. We need to be informed of the business language, so
Mhm.
that way we're not being duped and we're not missing out on opportunities.
That's correct.
So for just as many scammers were out there getting money, there were people who were legitimate businesses but couldn't get funding because you didn't have your paperwork in
That is
order
true.
to get the money.
Get the money. Yeah.
And so the scammers got stuff doctored up real good. And here you are, a business, you qualify, and you can't get anything because you don't know what a profit and loss statement is. You
That's
don't know what all these things are, and you weren't able to produce it. So you lost out on money. So we don't want that to help happen again. Many of you you have organizations or businesses where you could get grants even for a for-profit business, but
Mm-hmm.
you need to get your affairs in order. And scan your receipts. There's platforms where you can scan your receipts and you're not retaining all the paper, because sometimes, depending on the type of paper the receipt is printed on, it can rub off and you
That's
can't see anything. And now you got Miss Malinda wear glasses, but she's not a miracle worker where she's Christopher Reeve Superwoman trying to
that's
look
true.
and see what was this number, because it's been smudged.
Yes.
So let's help our preparers, let's help our business managers with doing what we need. And again, I always tell people, outsource your weaknesses,
Yeah.
employ other people. Again, be knowledgeable. But if you're not a bookkeeper, if you're not a CPA, if you don't
Right.
understand taxes, please outsource it to people, especially when it comes to taxes.
Taxes.
You don't want to get a big refund and then you get audited and realize, ooh, that was a fraudulent return somebody
Yes.
did for you, just in the name of getting some money back. And now you have to owe even more than probably
Oh,
what you would
yeah.
have had. So
That's
let's have some real businesses. I've seen people take pictures of a desk in a kitchen, and I'm like, sweetie, that's
that's not an offer.
what is this gonna prove? What is
Yeah.
this gonna prove?
Yeah.
So let's like really work on that and be better stewards um of what God is blessing us with, and working with people like Malinda to help us get on track. So if
Mm-hmm.
you haven't been on track, it's never too late. You
Never
may
too
not
late.
get your return like the lady had 4,000 and waited too long, but let's get back on track. Maybe God hasn't released the abundance because you don't have your stuff together.
Together. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, let's see. Sharon said, excellent. She learned a lot from today's presentation and about the income brackets. That was really great. And Calvin Daniels, great information. Learned a lot. Thanks for making this available. You are welcome. We are a training group, and this year you will definitely see more training opportunities, whether it is free live webinars on social media or it is workshops where you have to register and pay, and more hands-on. But we want to make sure that we provide you with the information and tools to be successful, whether it's in ministry or the marketplace, whether it's for you as a faith-based leader or you want to be great and excel serving your community or corporations.
Crystal,
Miss
and
Mel-
let me add one more thing for the
Mhm.
business. When you set up your business, people are doing the LLCs now, and a LLC is a limited liability company or partnership. So therefore, because when you start your business as a sole proprietor, if somebody wants to sue you,
Mhm.
they can't
Yep.
get your money, your hard-earned money.
Yes.
So I say, you know what? I'm gonna make me an LLC, which this is a limited liability company. And if somebody wants to sue me, hopefully y'all don't, but
Mhm.
they can only get what's the $250 in my my
Right.
business account.
Yes.
So, but now the IRS is getting smart with that.
Mhm.
And if you have an LLC, they are making you complete different forms to
Mhm.
confirm you have
Yep.
an LLC. So
Yep.
set your business up correct, get your EIN number, go on. Don't be afraid of that,
Mhm.
because the people use that as a tax bracket, as a tax strategy, and we're scared of those things. But
Yep.
you can do that legitimately and set your business up right. And she said, get your separate bank account. Hey, I'm on it this year, and I'm encouraging my clients, if you have a business, to set it up correct. Don't be afraid to get income. You know,
Yes.
hey, if I make $10,000 over my income from a small business, hey, pay the taxes and go for it. Go on vacation with it. So just don't be afraid of that. So those were some pointers.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned that about the LLC and about the limited liability, because a lot of I'm gonna get my DBA, and that's great. But to your point, if people didn't like the little shrimp and grits you made and make their stomach hurt, and now they want to sue you, they're coming after all of your
All of your,
personal stuff, and you
yes,
already feel like, I ain't got nothing but a flat screen TV and a
yes,
phone and a laptop. Well, they can take that
they can
too.
take that. Yes.
So that is a protection from you, as well as it allows you to get other type of funding opportunities if that is a requirement from the
Right.
bank, or the grant that's
Hmm.
been available for small businesses, that you must be, a corporation in a list of type of corporations.
Hmm.
You need to be a registered entity. It helps
Right.
to protect you, whether you are selling products, especially when you're a service-based business. That
Service.
you done gave
Yes.
me the wrong advice, they
Right.
done said something wrong and I don't like it. You want to be able to protect your personal assets
That's true.
from being taken away from you.
That is true.
Any questions anybody have, I'm going to put information in the comments. Again, you can go back and look at this as many times as you want to, as well as I'm going to put in the comments how you can get in contact with Miss Malinda, as well as how you can get in contact with me. Let's say, for instance, I don't like how it looked as it pasted in the comments, but I'll put it in there separately too. So, for example, hey, I do need to talk to Malinda about taxes. I'm behind. I don't know what to do. Don't try to figure it out yourself. And sometimes when we don't know, we
That's
tend
true.
to not do it
Right.
because we get stuck. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's why you have professionals. And then I'm going to share my information. If you say, hey, um, from an operational standpoint, I've been doing business, but operationally it is not together. What should I do? You can visit my website. You can book a discovery call, so that way I can identify what your needs are and direct you in the right direction. It may be, hey, yeah, you have everything together. You just may need a better system to save or share things, manage your clients better. But this is what you need to do. I'm also putting resources in for QuickBooks. If you
Yes,
or
that's a good one.
prefer a QuickBooks person, I have QuickBooks in there. That way you can start tracking your income and expenses. It allows you to send invoices and all that.
Right.
Again, I know Cash App and Venmo and PayPal is quick for y'all, but in 2024, if all I can help, we're gonna help y'all transition from some of
Yeah,
these platforms
that's true.
so you have a better way. One, it makes you look professional. And I know you're thinking, I just need the money, and you
Right.
want to make it easy for your clients. But it is hard on the back end when it's tax time,
Thanks. Yeah.
when it's event time for registration, and you got people registering for tickets in 10 different platforms, and
Yeah.
your team ready to pull their eyebrows out. um, we have to move away from some of those processors and look a bit more
Yeah.
professional. Um, and a lot of these platforms that you use, they do have a professional version. So you like Cash App, but Square is the owner of Cash App. So why not use Square to send invoices and sell your products?
Right.
Why not use some of these other platforms? So that's where I come in. If you need to understand like operational strategies of what you need for certain things. So I put QuickBooks in, and then if you say I don't have any money or income coming in like that to keep up with a subscription, I'm also putting Wave Accounting. It is a free accounting software that you can at least get started and understand how accounting software works. And then when you get the income in your bookkeeper prefers QuickBooks, you can switch over, to that. But I want you to at least start having the resources that you need that you can look into and say, hey, I need this so it can be better for me.
That's
It's January is about to be over. Let's start on the right foot to make sure that we can walk in abundance and God can bless us with all of the things that we need.
yeah.
Um, and maybe your generational curse is not being a good steward of money.
Yeah.
You can be a tither and still be broke because you don't steward well, and you trying to, you living by kingdom principles but trying to scam, the government.
Yeah.
So let's work on that so that way God can really bless us with the abundance that we need. Any other questions?
I just wanted to add on this Square Venmo and stuff. When you receive money, it could be a country, it could be a gift. Like you give your
Hmm.
kids, and you giving a gift. the IRS is going to receive a K-1. You're going to get a K-1 for all of the money that you received. So you want to make sure if you send money to your friend or somebody, make sure that you say it's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can kind of distinguish. But they're going to come after you on there's all of that because
Yeah.
people pay you. You receive income. IRS
Mm-hmm.
is very nosy. They want to know
Yes.
what you got, how much you got, and why you ain't paid taxes on it.
Yes. And if you are a business and you're using Laquita Brown 25 at Gmail
Mm-hmm.
for your Zelle, and you're using Laquita Brown 23 for your Cash App, and you're doing business, there are business versions of Cash App.
Okay.
I don't recommend it, but instead of you sending it to your personal because you're doing business, you
Mm-hmm.
need to do whatever your business name is, do the business version of Cash App if you're going to do it. I don't recommend it. That's why I would prefer doing a consultation to see what type
What
of
you are?
business that you're
Yes.
doing and put you in the right direction,
Yes.
because you have to train people how to do business with you.
Right.
So if, hey, nope, you can't cash at me. That's not the way that we do it. You have to go through this route so it can go through a payment processor and it's hitting your uh
Your bank.
accounting
Yeah.
software and you can see what income that you have coming in. But if it's coming from all these different places between your personal stuff and you don't have any business stuff set up, it's going to be hard for your tax
Yeah.
preparer, and then it's going to be hard for you to even prove how much income you received if you're trying to get funding from different places.
Mm-hmm. And looking at a bank statement for 12 months and trying to pull that
Yes.
together, that is not fun. I've had to do that for two clients. I'm like, please put this stuff together. You're going through 12
Yes.
months of bank statements for them. They don't want to do it, but they want you to do it, and you have
Hmm.
to do it quick. So,
Yes.
yes.
And trying to figure out, okay, was this for business or was this personal? Like, what's this? So even if you are using your business account and you have expenses for your personal self, again, you can categorize that if you have your accounting software that this was a personal distribution. That way it's clear. So again, if you say, hey, this is too much for me, that's the reason why you have people like
Yeah.
Malinda and you have Negro CFO and associates where they can help you be better money managers. Hey,
Manager.
I don't know it. I just know how to flip the fry
Right.
that chicken, slang these fries. I ain't trying to figure out all of that.
That's true.
That's why you outsource and you have people to help you.
So
All
can
right.
you put my the QR code so they can scan me if they need to? But she have my information. I'm available. Just let me know.
Okay. I'm gonna put the QR code up again so that way you all can scan it. Her contact information is also in the comments. You can inbox me and say, hey, what was the name of that lady
Uh-huh.
who did the presentation on taxes? I really, really need help. Again, I really want to reiterate, especially for us in a Black community. Let's take advantage of being compliant in all these opportunities, especially in California. There are a lot of programs that are being opened up
Uh-huh.
for home buying and other types of things for businesses. Now they're having a meeting to discuss how you can open a food-based business in your home, but they want you to hear the laws and the different requirements that it's going to take. You have to remember during the pandemic, things are shut down. People are trying to sell out of their
Right.
house. They were trying to shut things down. Now they're trying to create those opportunities because people are losing jobs. And if
Uh-huh.
they know how to cook, they going to make some burgers and they going to make certain things. So they're trying to create programming for things. And I want you to be in position to take advantage of these opportunities that your state or the government is offering, and you're not missing out like many did during the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I have a few announcements and then I'm going to let y'all, go on your way. But again, KAMS, scan the QR code so that way you can stay connected with her, that you can get everything that you need as it relates to your taxes, and then learning about other services that she will provide to you. because we want to make sure that you are thriving well as an organization, as a business. On Friday, February 9th, we will have Brenda Sanders of AGF Virtual Solutions. Um, she was a sponsor for our Her Voice Proclaims event that we had in October, and she's one of our preferred partners. We're going to talk about the beauty of having a virtual assistant. And
Mm,
so, for many of you who are bosses and leaders, you are the bottleneck to your business. You
mhm,
can't scale or grow any more than you want to because you're trying to be marketing the assistant, or you got an assistant but you in their business and you doing their work and you're giving unrealistic expectations. So sometimes you need to outsource. If you travel a lot, outsource that to a VA to help you manage your calendar or book your travel arrangements. That's one less thing so you can show up, shake hands, kiss babies, and do your job.
mhm.
So we're going to be talking about the beauty of having a virtual assistant because you really, really need it. January 30th is fastly approaching. And if you believe that God has called you to preach or even teach, or you want to understand how do I prep a sermon, I highly recommend that you register for the fundamentals of sermon preparation with Reverend Deborah Bell and Reverend Melville McGlynn. They were also speakers, facilitators at our Her Voice Proclaims event in October. And so they are offering this course, and there's a website. I highly recommend that you register for it. And this week, I'll be sharing their presentation from Her Voice Proclaims on our social media platform, so you can kind of get an idea of the content and the information that they'll be sharing with you. And then 412 training group, by again the end of this month, we will phase out of being primarily a church consultancy, and we will solely serve women in women who serve congregations and communities. And communities can be corporations, small businesses, nonprofits. The reason being, over the past few years, our clientele have kind of shifted. The brethren are slow to make decisions, and they the bottleneck of their church advancing, but the women move more quickly. So we are making a shift to who we serve and how we serve them. So our website will change February. The clear messaging of who we're serving is going to change. And with that, we are implementing her learning lab. Initially, I had created 412 Learning Lab to help church administrators with the tools and the things they need to help lead their church. And one person was interested, Lynn Smith. And so, since we are making the shift, I wanted this to be a community. There still will be opportunities for learning for church administrators, but we are providing you everything that you need. So, where you are a great leader, whether it's in ministry, nonprofit serving the community, or being a corporate leader, and that community will be launching in February. And LAB is an acronym for Learn, Apply, Begin. We want you to learn the information, apply it, and begin it. So similar to how you study the Bible, when you read scripture, you read it, you understand it, you apply it to your life, and you move forward with sharing with others. So that is a community that will launch next month. And women like Miss Malinda and Neek will be in there to give tools. You can be able to connect with them to get their the resources that you need. In March 16th, Touch the World is presenting The Journey with Lady Eva J. She is doing her birthday concert. So if you are in the Southern California area, please visit the website to purchase your tickets. It's on March 16th at 4 p.m. at the City of God in Carson, California. Eva is also a partner of 412. And if you have events, whether it's community events, conferences, she is the guru for production management. Everything you need to produce and manage the production of services, of events. She is well, she participated and led areas at the Martin Luther King Parade here in LA. She has worked the Taste of Soul out here in LA. So when you're talking about events on a large scale and needing that production person, you can be the visionary, but you cannot be everywhere. Definitely connect with Touch the World and attend her birthday concert. And then our final announcement, the Sisters Ministry, they are hosting the Girlfriend Getaway Retreat
Mm,
and Indian Wells. Pastor DeAntoinette is the pastor of Holy Land Church of God in Christ in San Bernardino, California. So if you're in Southern California or you want to fly in and
mm,
be part of the getaway, it's going to be at the Tommy Bahama Resort. All of the VIP tickets are sold out. So if you want a VIP, all of those are sold out. But there are general sisters registration available for the men. The men will have their ironclad retreat separately from the women. So if you and your husband coming out, you can have your girlfriend time. He can have his man cave time.
mm.
So I encourage you to, register if you're fly in and have a really, really great time amongst other women and just have that getaway in different city, um, and just be ministered to and enjoy yourself. All right. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. Miss Melinda, again,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for coming and really educating us. This is you may get sick of me reposting this throughout the tax season,
Please
but
do.
this is not a one-time thing. There's people who have missed it. There's people who may not have, gotten a chance to view it. So this will be reposted throughout the tax season because people need to make an educated guess, and some people
That's
do
right.
wait until April.
Yeah.
So this will be available so that way you can refer to it, and know what you need, whether you have a business or not, or you have children, how that's going to work. I know I'm going to look, double check, and look at my W-4 again because I
Yeah,
don't remember. Sometimes you get hired, you have life changes, and you don't
that's
think
true.
about, hey, I need to update my W-4 because my life has changed.
That's true.
So I know I'm going to log in at ADP probably today or tomorrow and look to see what do I need to update,
Right.
um, so I can have my stuff together. So Miss Melinda, is there anything else you want to leave us with before we end?
Just thank you so much, Crystalline, for inviting me and the people who are on the call. I really appreciate that. I do enjoy doing taxes. I really do. I do have a full time job, but taxes is my baby. So I'm going to be retiring in a few years to do that because I fell in love with it, and I want to help clients. I want to help. I'm not here to scam anybody. I've seen enough of that, and I don't wear stripes, so don't ask me to do anything illegal because I got grandbabies I need to take care, visit and stuff. But we want to make sure that your taxes are complete and correct. So,
Mhm.
if you need have any other questions, every tax situation is different.
Yes.
It's so much, so much. So if you have any questions, you can send me an email or a chat or something, and then I'll respond to you one on one. Thank you so much again, Crystalline.
You are so welcome. Again, everybody, I hope during this tax season you are well informed. Share this with everyone who you believe that needs it. If somebody say, "Oh, I need to file my taxes," before y'all go to the big companies to get it done, stop by and connect with Melinda. That way, you can be educated, and she can tell you, "Hey, no, you need to do this. You need to
Yeah.
do that." Let's be more informed. Let's tell others so that way we can receive and reap the benefits and the blessings that God wants to give us. And we're not nickel and diamond or trying to get around or trying to get more than what is allowed,
Mm-hmm.
but we can steward everything well. So I thank you all so much for joining us. I will see you all next month when we talk about the beauty of having a VA as well as another um, administrative type lesson. And I'll share with that when we do the beauty of a virtual assistant. But thank you so much. And hopefully, this year, 412 training group can provide you with the training and information you need to be better kingdom citizens, but better citizens in your city as you lead your businesses and organizations.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
All right. Bye.